back to Out Loud with Claudia Jordan. Now, if you're just joining us, we've been talking about the nomadic travel lifestyle with people who are basically living out of their suitcases and exploring the world. Joining the conversation are two nomads who love traveling abroad so much, they've created a business where they help other travelers see the world. Please welcome Naima Woodson and Craig Henry to the show. Welcome. Hello. Hi. How y'all doing today?
Good. How are you?
Good. Black nomads.
Yes.
I love it. I love it. I think it's like an interesting term. I mean, I was telling her earlier that it sounds like homelessness, but it's not. It's actually quite the opposite. You're finding homes all over the world. So what got you both into traveling abroad so much?
Well, for me, I had my first experience traveling abroad by myself. And it was at a place where I just felt like I needed to get away. I was a newly single mother. I hated my job. And for me, it was just an opportunity to really feed myself and to go somewhere really far and be quiet and just enjoy a new place.
Where'd you go?
Bali.
Okay.
Yeah, so I wound up there and my experience was amazing. It transformed my life. It changed my whole perspective. It gave me a new outlook. And from that point on, I just felt like, wow, if this place does this to me, I need to really listen to where my intuition is telling me to go. And that's what led me to creating experiences for other people, because I was just like, other people need to see this. I felt like what I was seeing was so important and fed me so much that I had to share it with other people.
It's funny you mentioned Bali. I was going through a crazy breakup years ago, and my friend, she was going there too, and I went. And when I came back, I felt the same way.
Yeah.
I felt like, because Bali's known for a lot of healing.
Yes.
Right, they have the massages, and they have the not psychics, but what do they call them? The shaman.
Yeah, they have healers.
Healers, a lot of that.
They have water temples, and it just is a really lush, spiritually magnetic place. So a lot of people go there for that reason. Okay. And that was one of the reasons why I went there.
So you felt like it did the job when you
got
back?
Yeah, absolutely. And every time. That's one of the places that I go to often. And every time it feeds me and it nourishes me. So I like to create that experience for other people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Craig, what about yourself?
Well, for me, it was easy. It was mom and dad, so I was riding on their coattails.
So they're big travelers?
Yeah, they were big travelers back in the day, and they used to take my sister and I everywhere. So I think the first time we went out, we flew out to California. I was like 9.
From where?
To Disneyland. From Chicago.
Okay.
Came to Disneyland, got on a plane, was like, what is this? And I've just been flying ever since. So it was them that put the bug in me. Then after that, a couple of years later, they took us over to London, and then I've just been going ever since.
How important is it, and I want to ask all three of you, how important is it to get out of your city? Because it's mind-blowing, but there's a lot of people who've never been on a plane. There's a lot of people who've never left their state.
Yeah.
What do you think about, what would you say to these people?
Well, I think it's absolutely important to get out. I mean, it's all part of education. I mean, you learn a lot when you leave your comfort zone. You learn a lot about other cultures, but more importantly, you learn a lot about yourself. Things that you will do and won't do, and what you can tolerate and what you won't tolerate. So I think it's all important to get out.
Yeah, it always blows my mind, especially when I hear older people that have never even left their city. And it's just the perspective that travel gives you, just seeing other cultures, being able to experience other people's practices, other foods, just looking at different lifestyles really changes your perspective. And I don't feel like you could have as broad of a perspective just staying in your city or staying in your state.
I agree.
Yeah.
I became more grateful.
Yes.
When you see poverty in different countries, like what we think is poverty here is actually middle class in a lot of most parts of the world, right? The things that we complain about that we don't have, and then you see people really without.
Yeah, that was one of the things that I shared with my children. Like after, traveling to really poor countries in Asia, in India, and in Africa, I just came home and I was like, you guys don't know how good you have it.
Right.
You need to be really grateful for what you have, because I remember 3-year-old babies, pedaling whatever, fans or, just trying to sell things to make money for their families.
And our kids are mad if we don't get the new iPhone.
Right.
Like poverty here in America, it's bad, but when you go certain places like India, it's like sensational over there. I mean, I got off the plane and I went to certain parts of India and I was like, I can't believe this. I mean, I didn't even want to take pictures. That's how bad it was.
Really?
Because I didn't want to, I don't want the people to feel like I'm exploiting them and showing, but I was like, this is like amazing. I'm talking like people just like laid out on the street, just asleep, just laid out, and it was just amazing.
A lot of things we take for granted, especially with India. A lot of the fake hair comes from India, right?
Yeah.
They use their culture, right, to get them to cut their hair and give it to us, sell it.
Yes.
And they probably give them, what, nothing?
Yeah, they still don't make
Little
any
or
money
nothing.
for it. Yeah.
It's humbling. It's an eye-opening experience for sure. It's something that I think every person should experience at least once.
Do you think people that don't travel are more closed-minded?
I do.
Okay. Speak on it. Come on now.
I mean, if you only experienced this, just imagine how big the world is. And if you've only experienced a very small part of it, how can you be open to other ideas, other cultures, other people's experiences, other people's stories?
Yeah.
How?
Yeah, I agree. And I don't think it makes you better than anybody that you travel versus someone that doesn't. It just makes you a lot more well-rounded. That's all.
How do you think it's affecting the Black community in particular by not traveling as much and just kind of like being kind of just tethered to their neighborhoods?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, how do you think that affects us? I feel like you see more of it now, but for a long time, like I said, lots of people who've never been on planes, never left the country, don't have a passport. How do you think that has affected us more?
Well, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think we can see that in how unfulfilled people are. People are going to work every day, working a 9 to 5, seeing the same thing every day, and not really doing anything about the things that are going on in our communities and things that we see, like in our small part of the world. I don't know, I feel happier when I get out and see, what other people are experiencing and other people are going through. And I just don't think you have that perspective, in the same place.
So when you say they're unfulfilled, you just think they're just, what do you think?
I'm not saying that people that don't travel are unfulfilled, but I think that having different perspectives on things will give you a different level of gratitude for what you do have.
Facts.
I think for me as a millennial, like now that's our thing. Like we want to get out, we want to experience these new things. But I think about the generation before me that kind of grew up on like hustle, like work, like grind. And so it's, especially when I think about like my dad, like he's been working in his profession, for years, and he doesn't understand the value of it sometimes. And so I just think that it needs to be a mindset shift for some people. And I think that's why it's important for us to be here with you today, so people can kind of see themselves in us and to know that if we can do it, it's most definitely possible for them.
Yeah.
I think a lot of that comes from the younger generations are the first or maybe the second ones in their families that have some disposable income. And I think people think that traveling abroad like this is really expensive. So I'd like for you guys to speak on how, maybe some travel tips, how you can make these things happen and cheaper, less expensive ways to make it happen, because I'm hearing all these fabulous trips and I'm thinking, okay, that's probably $5,000, that's $3,000, that's $2,000. Break that down and I want y'all to kind of clear up that myth.
Yeah.
Because you're saying that there's some really inexpensive ways to travel. I'm sure you guys have great tips.
Yeah. I mean, I utilize a lot of different websites looking for flight deals. And then, a lot of times, I do hotels, but a lot of times I love staying in hostels. So you can go to certain countries and you can get in cities and stay in a hostel for $12, $17.
I'm afraid of hostels because of that scary movie.
Because of that movie, right.
They cut the Achilles tendon. I'm like, no, don't go in there.
It's not that bad, trust me. And I've met some of my best friends in hostels in other countries. When you have to sit and eat with someone, at a community table, don't get me wrong, you're not in the same bathroom with them or anything like that,
But should we be nervous about this, though?
No, I mean, in certain places, I probably would be nervous, but certain countries,
where?
You're good to go. Where would I be nervous?
The scary countries.
I probably wouldn't stay in a hostel in Albania, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Something like that, but Thailand or something like that, I'm all good.
Albania is a little too Dracula-ish.
Well, Albania is kind of where they made the movie that you were talking about,
Yeah. That movie messed it up for me.
Yeah, I think it messed it up for a lot of people.
And then Taken, that's another one.
Yeah.
Y'all not scared at all?
No.
No,
But that's
that's
how
just
you
an
can
idea.
maximize your dollar, I'm telling you.
Okay, so that's a good way to maximize the dollar. So hostels, what
I've never done a hostel. But I would just say, as far as finances are concerned, it's a matter of prioritizing. So I'll see some women carrying handbags that will cost about the same amount of a nice vacation.
Yeah.
You know, or tennis shoes that cost a few $100s if you have a collection of tennis shoes. I add stuff up that way. I'm like, okay, you bought that handbag, you could have bought a vacation, you know? So I think it's a matter of prioritizing, saving up for it. We need to get out of the misconception that we can't afford travel because there are so many different ways.
Yeah. The destination helps too.
The destination
Yeah.
helps too.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of places in Southeast Asia that are really inexpensive to travel. And
Where can you ball out? Like, where you're like, if you go to this place, you can ball out.
Bangkok.
Bangkok, yep.
Trust
You
me.
said that
can ball
quick.
out
You've been
in
going there a lot, huh?
Bangkok.
Oh,
There's a lot of little wild stuff that goes on in
Look, you go over
Bangkok.
to Bangkok with like $1,000, it's like you have 10,000.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I mean, Bangkok, I mean, you getting full course meals for $12.
Really?
Massages for like $10, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, Bangkok, you can ball out in Bangkok.
Okay.
Bali too.
Yeah,
I
Bali
feel like,
too, yeah.
massage every day,
Yeah.
cocktails.
When I think about like saving money when it comes to travel, I think about like the 3 buckets. Like there's your flights, there's your accommodation, and then there's your things to do. With me particularly, with the things to do, a lot of people like try to find their things on TripAdvisor, which is great, Expedia to find your tours. But for me, I really enjoy finding things to do on Airbnb Experiences.
Oh, what's up?
So Airbnb has this, like, it's not really new anymore, but it's basically locals in their own cities will basically give you a tour. So for an example, if someone were to come to LA, you know, someone who's from, I don't know, let's say they're from South Africa, right? And they're coming to LA and they're trying to find things to do. You can say, you know what, I'll take you around Hollywood. I'll show you the Hollywood sign, I'll walk you down, and maybe you can see where the stars are. They do a lot of different things like that.
And you charge for that?
No, I don't charge for that, but on Airbnb Experiences they do.
Yeah, they do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I wanted to
But
go
they're
together.
low. They're very low and affordable prices. Same things for like photos. If you see all the travelers out here taking these amazing photos and they're like by themselves, Airbnb Experiences does photo shoots.
Yeah.
Well, so that's a good way where people that actually live here, like you guys in the audience here, could probably make some money doing that, right?
Yes,
Instead of
they
being a
can.
tour guide?
I have a
Yeah.
friend in New York, she does that. She's
Really?
on Airbnb Experiences right now. So you fly in, she'll pick you up and she'll take you all around to all the iconic spots in New York where people take like pictures of the Brooklyn Bridge and all of that. And that's what she does. Yeah.
Wow.
And I think talking to the locals, like you mentioned, the people, you know, when you're traveling abroad, really connecting with the locals. So don't get caught up by all the salespeople that are in the airport
That's the
that are
word,
trying
right?
to sell like the packages and the transportation and
yeah.
all that stuff.
Yeah.
If you can figure out exactly, you know, where you're going to go, where you're going to stay, talk to the people that live there, ask them what the best places are to see, ask them where to get the best Instagram photos, because
Yeah.
people are really interested in taking photos that they see on Instagram.
Would you advise people, you know, when you first go to like, I mean, you go on a cruise or something, you get off the boat and there's a million people right there trying to sell you something, like especially in Jamaica or whatever, right? Would you say to just bypass all of them
I do.
and go to the people that are like not there to sell you something as soon as you get off the boat?
Yeah, I mean, I'll do a little research at home first, and then
It's all about the
bypass
research.
people.
So I say this, I bypass them too, but every once in a while it's that one guy who's like gonna take you on your best experience, you
Yeah.
know. So it'll be like 10 of them out there trying to sell you stuff, but you just gotta kind of judge it for yourself. You pick out that one guy and you'll be at his mama's house eating plantain and hanging out with his cousins and all that, and it'll be the best time you ever had. You come back to the ship or to the hotel and everybody's like, oh, I went to dinner. And you're like, what? I was over his cousin's house. I was over here hanging out. I was digging holes in the backyard. I mean, everything, you know, stuff like that. So, yeah.
Tell me, both of you, all three of you, your wildest experiences with this traveling. Like maybe nightmare or best story.
Wildest
Memorable,
experience.
good or bad? Like,
So my wildest experience, well, fun. I was in Lisbon with my best friend Terry, right? So we went out to this club, you know, shoe modeling establishment, if you must know, right? So we left out of there.
A what establishment?
Shoe modeling establishment, strip club basically, right?
Oh, shoe modeling.
Right.
Okay, you was at the strip club overseas.
So we
Okay,
left
let's
there.
get into it.
Right. So we left there and we had like an early morning flight going to like Spain or something like that, right? So we come out and cab drive. You know, it's a ton of them standing there, right? And I never forget the guy, Spanky. this cab driver comes out and he was like, listen, you go back to the hotel, I take you to a party. We're like, all right, man, take us to a party. So he took us to this neighborhood, and it was like 4 a.m, no cars on the street, and it looked like something out of Brooklyn, you know, like the brownstones and all of that. He pulls up, he said, okay, party upstairs. So he gets out with us, he locks the door, and we're walking upstairs with him. We go up to like the 3rd floor of this place, knock on the door, a woman opens up the little slit, then she closes, she lets us in, we go in, and it was kind of empty, right? So we're sitting down there, next thing you know, about 15, 20 women come out, a couple of guys come out, we go in this other room, and it was like a full-blown party. And we're in there till like 7 a.m, just getting it in. Damn, they're missing a flight, you know?
Okay. What country where was that, Lisbon?
It was in Lisbon, yeah.
Got any kids there?
No.
No, I don't have any kids in Lisbon, no.
Okay.
But they party in Lisbon, trust me.
Okay.
You know, right.
Just checking now.
Yeah.
How about you?
So I had a pretty funny experience in India where we crashed a wedding.
You crashed a wedding?
I was hosting a retreat in India, and we were hanging out in this alley because some of the ladies were buying textiles from a shop. And right across the street from the store, we heard the music from the wedding reception playing. So we're like dancing in the alley, having a great time. The music was really good. And our driver asked us, do you guys want to go in there? And we're like, well, it's somebody's wedding, right? And he said, yeah, but it's okay, you can go. So we're like, okay. So we freshen ourselves up, make ourselves look nice. And we go around, it was in a hotel, and I'm like, are you sure this is okay? Like, we're not gonna get in trouble. And he's like, it's fine, come on. So we go in there, and I make eye contact with the father of the bride. And he's looking at our group like, who are these people?
What are these black people doing at my Indian daughter's wedding?
Right.
Yeah, so a few of the ladies are like dancing and stuff, and I'm still keeping it I'm like, okay, I don't know if this is okay. So he signals to somebody to kick us out because obviously he didn't know who we were. So I was like, okay, you guys, we have to go. But it was beautiful. Like, if you've ever seen an Indian wedding, you know that it's just beautiful. So
Love to see one
I
of
was
those.
happy we got to go in there and just take it in. But he kicked us out. And then I think he felt bad because as we were walking out, he invited us back in.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was pretty funny. Other than that, I've gotten a couple of marriage proposals.
That was India. He was
I
looking for
got
white
a
redneck.
marriage proposal in India, and I got a marriage proposal in Egypt.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Would you be open to marrying abroad?
No.
Okay.
Not well. I'm engaged, so I'm going to be marrying at home.
Okay. Why you both put together travel groups and encourage other people to kind of like live, have these experiences.
Yes.
So why was it so important for you to both share this with people? What is it? Like, why?
Well, you want to go first?
No, go ahead.
Well, for me, it was just, I love to travel. So, and I love to see different things, not necessarily the norm. Like, you go to Paris, of course, you're going to see the Eiffel Tower and things like that, but I love to see other stuff. So
You like to go like off the beaten path type of thing?
Yeah. I love to do the touristy stuff too, but I love to go off the beaten path. But I love to bring those experiences back, and then instead of just telling people, just say, hey, why don't you come with me next time and I'll show it to you. And then, so that's one of the things that I do with my company called the Travel Junkies. We make sure we put together trips for people that are very economical for people to get out. You're not going to break the bank. And then you'll have some great experiences while you're out.
So your company's called Travel Junkies.
Right, the Travel Junkies, and that's Junkees.
Okay.
I'm the Travel Junkie, so I just named the company the Travel Junkies with an S.
Okay, so tell us some of your little hidden gems, like what country, let me say. Well, it seemed like you had a lot of fun in Lisbon, so.
Yeah, Lisbon was all that. So I like Spain. I know you were talking about Spain earlier. It's this one city in Spain. It's right outside of Madrid called Segovia.
Okay.
I love Segovia. So if you guys are familiar with like Walt Disney, Magic Kingdom, so the castle, Alcazar Castle, it's in Segovia. That's the castle that Walt Disney modeled the Magic Kingdom out of. Alcazar Castle in Segovia. And Segovia is like beautiful. So it's like about an hour and a half by high-speed train outside of, Madrid. Then it's another city called Sintra in Portugal. I mean, that's probably like the most romantic city.
Hands down. Hands down.
Sintra is all
Yes,
that.
it's beautiful.
Sintra is beautiful. Yeah, man, it's quaint. You know, it's not going to be a lot of noise going on. Then you got Quinta della Rigliera there, you know, the castle, the Moors Castle. I mean, so, you know, I mean, I could go on. I mean, it's a bunch of spots in Thailand that I like as well, too, that are hidden. And, you know, I like Timor-Leste. That's probably one of my favorite countries. Okay. You know, it's right outside of Indonesia. So, like, if you're in Bali, you know, it's probably to the right of the country, right off the tip of Indonesia. And it's beautiful out there, man.
Have you guys been to Italy?
Yeah.
Yes.
My mom's from there, so we went to a castle one time, and this is another thing that's kind of like not typical tourist. We went to a castle, but it had a museum in it, and it had all the medieval torture mechanisms and devices, and you can read about all of them. Oh, wow. It was just so interesting to just think like how people used to think and punish each other, and the things they would do to each other. It's quite eye-opening.
Medieval. Right.
It was definitely. How about yourself?
So for me, my company, Beachbum Wisdom, curates travel experiences for women. And it was important for me to do that just because I know that when I found myself traveling, I was in a space and time where I needed to get away. I'm a mom. I just needed time to myself. And although I had that time to myself, I wanted other people to experience it too. So what I do is I curate experiences that are a combination of local culture, regional cuisine, sisterhood, relaxation, and fun. So it's a nice balanced vacation where we really feed our mind, body, and spirit, but it's also fun. We're also
You plan everything?
I plan everything.
Okay.
Yeah, we eat really well just because I love food and I love experiencing the flavors of other places. We do things like yoga, meditation, movement. We go on excursions and all of those different things. And in wanting other people to experience that and in traveling myself, I thought, okay, how can I make this different than just the typical retreat? And typically when you go on retreats that are considered to be like spiritual retreats, they're not doing all the fun stuff in between. So I wanted it to be like I am. I wanted a good balance. Like I want to do the meditation, I want to do the yoga, and I want to, do all that. I want to feed my spirit, but I also want to have some cocktails. I also want to go hang out on the beach.
So you want to pray by the beach, then you want to listen to some trap music.
Right.
Got it.
Balance.
I like it. Balance.
Yes. Balance. Yeah. So
what would be the average cost of a trip that you put together with all the experiences?
Anywhere between $1,400 to $2,000, just depending on the destination.
Would that be like 5 days? How many days? Like 5 days?
About 5 days.
Okay.
So like 5 to 7 days.
That's a really good price.
That's not bad.
Yeah,
trip.
it's really reasonable. I wanted to make the experiences reasonable for people.
Especially you do all the work because like that's the thing. You go to these resorts and you're kind of limited if you're not like bold enough or you don't have someone that's experienced to put that together.
Right, and I think that is a lot of people's hesitation in traveling, is that especially when they're traveling abroad, they're like, I don't even know like the first thing to do, right? Or they get online and start Googling and see, all these people cautioning them about all of these things going on, right? Like, oh, they're bombing over there, or you might get your purse snatched, or, all of these different things, which I think creates a fear factor in people. So just having the safety and the experience of someone else to put everything together for you, like, my ladies don't have to worry about anything when they come. When they get off the plane, they know that a car is going to be waiting for them, and they know that all the experiences are planned for them based around all of the places and experiences that I love to have and share with other people.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
I would love to do more of that, for sure.
Yeah, you should hook up.
Yeah, I think so. Because I would love to have someone just customize everything, because travel planning can be exhausting.
Oh, it is.
And so just having someone who kind of is just holding your hand, is like, we're going to do this, we're going to eat here. You don't really have to put too much thought in it. You can just enjoy.
Right.
Because there's nothing worse than spending a bunch of money on a plane ticket and a hotel, and then you come back home and all you did is kind of like the typical thing, you just lay by the pool. It looks like you could be in America.
Yeah.
Yes. That was important for me to create that balance. I mean, I want it to be relaxing and I want you to lay by the pool, but I want you to also experience all of the amazing things about that country. Like if you're gonna fly all the way across the world, you need to see some stuff.
Yeah.
Don't just lay by the pool or lay on the beach the whole
in your
time.
room.
And that's what we do. Like with my company, we make sure we give you one day, just a free day to do whatever you want. Other than that, every other day, I'm gonna have you running.
How long are your trips usually that you put together?
So it just depends. Like I've done like just weekend trips, and I've done like 12-day trips. Like I currently have a group out right now in South Africa, and they've been out since December 28th, and they won't be back until January 9th.
Wow.
And they're like all over. So they did Johannesburg, Zimbabwe, Botswana, and right now they're in Cape Town. So they're going to come back from Cape Town.
How much would a 12-day trip like that run you?
So like Africa, you know, because I'm doing everything, and when I say everything, we put excursions together for everywhere. It could be anywhere from like $3,900 or something like that, and that includes everything. We're talking flight, intra-country flights, hotels, excursions, food, all of that stuff. Now you're responsible for your own drinks,
Okay.
you know, souvenirs and all of that stuff. Because I'm not gonna get you drunk, but you know,
Okay.
at least you can come and have a good time and then see some stuff, you know. And then, like I said, every time we do a trip, we make sure we put a free day in there. So you can just kind of go do what you want to do. You may have a cousin that lives over there. You may want to hang out with your cousin, or you may want to go to the beach with your boo or something like that. You know, so we just make sure we put that free day in there for you to do your own thing.
This sounds really fun. I hope you guys, anybody else here inspired to like travel some more? Yeah. I really am. I think this is great what you guys are doing, all three of you. Because I feel like we get caught in the rat race of just like kind of, you know, like you were saying earlier, just work, 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 and not really, you know, putting that time aside. And you need that. You need to, when you're going through something, you're you know, transitioning, like a big change in your life. I think that's a good reset to get out there and just travel and see the world and be inspired, make it some, you know, you see how grateful you should be for what you have too, especially when you go to these other places.
Yeah.
You know?
I think all travelers can agree that traveling has changed them in some way. Or they've taken something from that place and incorporated it into their life, or, you know, in sharing it with other people.
Yeah. You know, I saw this famous quote, and it talked about, I can't remember who said it, and it talked about how, like, when you travel, sure, after the trip, you come home and you may be in the same house, the same city, same job, but you'll be changed, you know, internally. So, you know, that's the one thing that travel does. Like she said, it changes you, you know, and you just don't understand it until you get out there. And then when you see other people going to work and see how other people do it, I mean, you just come home and realize, wait a minute, I can do this, I can go somewhere, I can, you know, so yeah, travel is everything for me. You know. We
have a question from our audience. What's your name?
Hi, I'm Ray J.
What's your question?
And my question is, I've been listening to you guys talking about your travels, and a lot of it has been because you've been alone, single, except for the mom. I don't know if you took your children, but how do you incorporate families? Like your parents got you involved and you got the bug as a kid. Yeah. How would you incorporate families to do the same type of traveling with children?
Yeah, so one of the things that I do is I put together family-friendly trips as well, too. So, like, for example, you know, with my mom and dad taking us out when we were young, it just kind of filtered down to me. So as I started having kids, you know, we made sure we did family vacations. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't take them all over the globe, but they go places like, for example, we just did Barcelona last year. We're going to do Rome this year. You know, so, you know, I make sure I put the bug in them as well too, because it's just part of my responsibility. You know, my parents did it for me, so I have to do it for them. And the same thing, you know, I just pick budget-friendly countries, you know, especially when I know I'm paying for 3 or 4 plane tickets, you know, because, you know, it's like kids are. They want you to pay for everything, you know, so. But it's easy to do. You know, you just got to know what you're looking for and just, you know, pick the right spots.
Okay, maybe start off with something small and then build up.
Yeah, take them on a road trip, then put them on a plane.
There's also a lot of blogs out there. Like, I follow a blog called The Traveling Child, and she talks about her experiences traveling with children. And so I think that if that's something that you're interested in, just to make sure that you're looking on blogs and you're trying to figure out who are these people who are doing it, because no, I don't have children, you know, but I plan to in the future, so I do take a look at that as well.
Yeah, that's exactly where it starts, you know.
Well, we have 2 minutes left, so real quick, 2020, give us top travel destinations for Black people to travel to this year. Where should they go in 2020? Give us some recommendations real quick.
Well, I'll just say my favorite place is Bali.
What's on your list? Where will you guys go?
Well, I got a ton going on this year, but I think everybody should try and hit Africa this year somewhere. West Africa, South Africa, wherever it may be.
So
just
Africa?
hit it. Yeah.
Bali. You're all about Bali.
Bali, yes. Thailand.
Okay.
Yeah. I got Thailand in April.
You know, a bunch of places in Africa. For people in LA, a quick flight would be a bunch of beautiful places in Mexico. I just got back from Tulum a few weeks ago. So there are many places. pick a spot and commit to it.
You ever see Russell Simmons in Bali? Isn't he always there?
I actually saw him the last time I
Doing
went to
yoga?
Bali. Well, he wasn't doing yoga, he was eating.
Okay.
Lunch, but
Well, thank you so much. I'd like to thank my guests, Tyler Janae, Naima Woodson,
that's okay.
Naima Woodson, and Craig Henry for breaking down the Black nomad lifestyle. Thanks to everyone watching us at home, and don't forget you can catch us anywhere. Just download the Fox Soul TV app from the App Store, Google Play, Fire TV, or Apple TV. And of course, thank you to our amazing studio audience. Now, if you're in the LA area and you want to be in our audience, you can email audience@foxsoul.tv, and make sure to keep tuning in to Fox Soul. See you tomorrow at 5 p.m. Pacific Time and 8 p.m. Eastern. Up next is The Q with Quincy Harris. Stay tuned.